Welcome back to AR Tales. In today's story, we follow a man whose fiancée mocks him as a little boy who needs his mommy and plans to control his money once they marry. As you listen, think about whether you would have walked away at that dinner table or stayed and tried to fix it. My fiancé said, "He's just a little boy." I replied, "I won't get married." Then I moved out overnight, returned to my mom's house with my six-figure income, cut off the wedding money, and watched as my fiancé's life plan fell apart around her. My fiancée, Rachel, once told her entire family that I was just a little boy who needed his mommy. I told her she was right. Then I moved back in with my mom and took my six-figure income with me. Turns out, the little boy grew up fast once he stopped funding a grown woman who treated him like a child. I am 29 and work as a software engineer for a mid-sized tech company. Not a giant like Google, but solid pay, around $115,000 a year. Rachel is 27 and works part-time as a yoga instructor. She makes about $25,000 a year and loves the flexible schedule. We had been together 3 years and engaged for 6 months when everything fell apart. Before that, I thought we were happy. We lived together in an apartment I paid most of the rent for. I covered most of the big bills. She covered some groceries and small things. I told myself we were a team. I am close with my mom. My dad died when I was 16 and my mom raised me and my sister alone. She is 62 now and lives about 40 minutes away. I visit her every Sunday for lunch, help with house repairs, and take her to appointments when she needs it. To me, that is normal son behavior. Rachel never liked that part of me. At first it came as little comments. "You really need to see her every Sunday," she would ask. "Can't she hire someone to fix her fence? Your mom is very dependent on you, you know." I treated these as small things. I thought she was just adjusting to the idea of marrying a man with family ties. Looking back, those comments were not small at all. They were early warnings about how she saw my mother and my loyalty. Then came the anniversary dinner. Her parents were celebrating a big milestone. About 25 people were there. Her parents, siblings, aunts, uncles, cousins, and partners, long table, fancy pasta. Everyone dressed up. Her cousin Bradley was bragging about his promotion, his Tesla, and an upcoming trip to Bali. Everyone was congratulating him. Then one of Rachel's aunts turned to me and said, "So what about you? Rachel says you work with computers." I was about to answer when Rachel laughed. It was not a warm laugh. It was sharp and mean, the kind of laugh that makes your stomach drop. "Oh, he does," she said. "But honestly, he is just a little boy who needs his mommy, runs to her every Sunday like clockwork. He cannot make a decision without calling her first. I am basically marrying a child." The table went quiet. You could hear forks clink on plates. Her mother tried to change the subject, but Rachel was just getting started. "Last week, he actually left our date night early because his mommy needed help moving a couch. A couch. And do not get me started on how much money he wastes on her. New refrigerator here, car repairs there. I keep telling him that when we are married, that stops. I am not competing with his mother for the rest of my life." Her sister Melissa laughed. "Good luck with that. Mama's boys never change." "Oh, I will change him," Rachel said. "Once we are married and I control the finances, Mommy Dearest gets cut off. He will see her on holidays like normal people." This is the kind of moment where some people laugh it off to keep the peace. But when someone jokes about controlling your money and cutting off your family, that joke is not neutral. It is a map of what they will do when they think you are trapped. I was sitting there with a fork halfway to my mouth, listening to the woman I support talk about me like I was a burden. I pay for the apartment. I bought the car she drives. I cover most bills. And in front of her entire family, she called me a child and laid out a plan to isolate me from my mom. "You are right," I said quietly. Rachel smirked and turned toward me. "See, he even admits it." "No," I said. "You are absolutely right. I am just a little boy who needs his mommy, and you know what? Little boys should not get married." I put my fork down. I stood up. I placed my napkin on the table. "Thank you for dinner," I said to her parents. "Happy anniversary." Then I walked out, no scene, no shouting, just a clear line. On the way to my car, my phone started buzzing. Text from Rachel came fast. "Baby, come back, I was just joking. You are embarrassing me. If you leave, we are done," I replied once. "We are already done." Then I turned my phone off and drove to my mom's house. She was surprised to see me at 8 at night on a Saturday. She made tea and did not ask questions until I was ready. When I told her what happened, she was quiet for a long time. "I never liked her," she finally said, "but you seemed happy, so I kept my mouth shut." "Why did you not like her?" I asked. "She never once offered to help when she came over," my mom said. "Never brought anything to Sunday lunch, never said thank you. She rolled her eyes when you hugged me goodbye." Small things, but they told me enough. Sometimes the people outside the relationship see the pattern long before we do. I slept in my old room that night. The next morning I woke up with complete clarity. I knew exactly what I needed to do. On Monday I called in sick to work. Then I drove to the apartment around 10 in the morning when I knew Rachel would be teaching a yoga class. I packed everything I owned. It was not that much. My clothes, my gaming setup, my work equipment. Important documents, all the furniture was mine. I had paid for it, but I left almost all of it. I did take one thing. The 65-inch television I had bought 3 months ago, that came with me. Petty, maybe, satisfying. Yes, I left my key on the kitchen counter with a note. "Rent is paid through the end of the month. After that, it is your responsibility. The power and internet accounts are in my name. I will cancel them on Friday. Good luck." Then I moved everything into my mom's house. She had already started clearing out the basement rec room for me. It was not the dream at 29, but it was peaceful and safe. Much better than living with someone who humiliated me in public and called it a joke. When Rachel got home and saw my stuff gone, the calls started again. 18 in the first hour. Then texts. "Where are you? You cannot just leave." I was joking. "You are overreacting. How am I supposed to pay rent? You are being financially abusive." That last one made me laugh. I had been paying about 80% of our expenses for 2 years. Suddenly pulling my money was abuse. The truth was she had built a lifestyle on my wallet and thought it was permanent. The next day she showed up at my office. Security called to tell me my fiancée was in the lobby. I told them she was now my ex and I was not seeing her. Our building needed a badge to enter. She waited in the lobby for 3 hours. I slipped out the back exit and worked from home for the rest of the day. On Wednesday, her panic got louder. Her friend Chloe called me. "You need to talk to Rachel," she said. "She is a mess. She has not eaten. She has not slept. She might lose her job because she keeps crying during classes." "That sounds like her problem," I said. "How can you be so cold? You were together 3 years." "Ask her how cold she was when she called me a little boy in front of her whole family," I said. "She did not mean it. You know how Rachel is. She just talks without thinking." "Exactly," I said, "and now she has time to think without me around." Chloe hung up. The next day Rachel's dad called me. His name is Frank. He is a contractor and has always been decent to me. "Son," he said, "I am not calling to defend what Rachel said. That was out of line." "Thank you," I said, "but walking out on a 3-year relationship over one comment seems extreme." "Frank, with respect, it was not one comment," I said. "It was her telling your entire family that she plans to control my money and cut my mother off once we are married. That is not a partner. That is someone who wants power." He was quiet for a second. "She said that?" he asked. "Ask anyone who was there," I said. "Ask your wife, ask Melissa, they all heard it." I must have missed that part. "I was in the kitchen getting more wine," he said. "She cannot afford that apartment alone," he added after a pause. "I know," I said. "She will have to move back home. That is probably for the best." "You are really done, no counseling?" he asked. "She did not just insult me," I said. "She showed me who she is. Someone who thinks my love for my mother is weakness. Someone who thinks marriage means control. Someone who humiliated me for sport. I believe her. I am done," he sighed. "Can't say I blame you, son. Take care of yourself." A few days later, I got a text from Melissa, her sister. "She is moving back home this weekend. Hope you are happy." I texted back, "I am getting there." Rachel did move back with her parents. I saw it on social media. She posted a long caption about taking time for self-care and family bonding. The comments were supportive until someone asked about the wedding. Then she admitted we had broken up. The story changed fast after that. She started painting me as emotionally unavailable and codependent with my mother. She said I refused to grow up and that she had tried so hard to help me become a man. I did not say anything online. I just watched and took screenshots. Sometimes silence is not weakness, it is preparation. Meanwhile, my mom loved having me around, not the breakup part but the company. We decided to renovate the basement properly. New paint, new flooring, a small kitchen area. It cost about $8,000 total, but it turned into a small apartment, a place that felt like mine while I figured out my next move. Then her friend group started reaching out, not to check on me, to ask for money. I had not realized how much I had been funding their fun. When Rachel and I went out, I paid. When we did group dinners, I often covered her portion and sometimes the whole table. I paid for her share of a beach house rental, concerts, wine tours, escape rooms. Through her, I had been the quiet sponsor of her entire social circle. Now she could not afford those things. Her friends noticed. Her best friend Victoria even sent me a payment request for $300 for Rachel's part of an upcoming bachelorette party. I declined with a note. Little boys do not have money. Ask her mommy and daddy. Then came the wedding deposits. We had booked a venue, a photographer, and a caterer. The deposits totaled around $8,500. I had paid $7,000. Rachel had paid $1,500. On Monday, I called all 3 vendors and explained that the wedding was off. The venue and photographer refunded my portion, minus small cancellation fees. The caterer could not refund, but said they could transfer the deposit to another event. So I transferred it to my mom's upcoming 63rd birthday party. 60 guests, full dinner, and an open bar. My mom cried when I told her. Happy tears. Rachel did not cry happy tears. She called from her dad's phone. I had blocked her number but not his. You stole our wedding money, she said. I withdrew my contributions, I said. Your $1,500 is still there. They said the venue needs $5,000 more or they will cancel, she said. Then pay it, I said. With what money? She snapped. I do not have that kind of cash. With the money you will save by controlling my finances, I said. Oh right, that was after the wedding. Guess you will have to figure something else out. You are doing this to hurt me, she said. No, I said. I am doing this because it is my money. I am just a little boy, remember. Little boys should not be planning weddings. Stop throwing that in my face, she said. It was one comment. One comment that revealed everything, I replied. You told your family you were going to control my money and cut my mom off. You called me a child for loving my mother. You laughed with your sister. In what world would I marry you after that? This is about your mother, is it not? She said. She never liked me. She is poisoning you against me. My mother has not said one bad word about you, I said. She does not need to. Your own words did the job. She hung up. Within 20 minutes, the wedding venue called to confirm the cancellation. Rachel had not paid the remaining balance. The photographer called next with the same news. The caterer called to confirm the birthday party details and thanked me for keeping the event with them. That evening, Rachel's mom, Patricia, called. Her tone was very different from Frank's. You are destroying my daughter over your pride, she said. Your daughter destroyed our relationship with her cruelty, I answered. She had to cancel the wedding, Patricia said. Do you know how humiliating that is? Do you know how humiliating it was to be called a little boy in front of your entire family? I asked. Do you know how it felt to hear her talk about controlling my money and cutting off my mother? She was just teasing, Patricia said. That is how she shows affection. By planning financial control and isolation, I said. That is not affection, that is control. You are twisting her words, she said. You were there, I said. You heard every word. You tried to change the subject because you knew it was wrong. Silence. She is my daughter, Patricia said. I have to defend her. I understand, I said. And now she is your responsibility again. Good luck. A bit later, things escalated again. Rachel started a fundraiser online with the title Help Me Rebuild After Financial Abuse. Her goal was $10,000. In the description, she claimed I had forced her to work only part-time so she would depend on me. In real life, she had refused full-time work because it would block her spiritual energy, and she said full-time jobs were corporate slavery. She said I had isolated her from financial resources. In reality, she had full access to her own accounts and just did not put money in them because mine was always there. She claimed I had stolen wedding funds that were rightfully hers. In reality, I took back only what I had paid. Her contribution was untouched. The fundraiser raised $250, $200 from her mom and $50 from an aunt. No strangers believed it. Then she started looking for full-time jobs. She had not updated her resume in 3 years and decided to list me as a professional reference without asking. When employers called, the conversation went like this. How long have you known Miss Morrison? 3 years personally, I would say. What can you tell us about her work ethic? I have never worked with her, I would say. We were in a personal relationship. I cannot speak to her professional skills. That was it. I did not insult her. I did not praise her. I just told the truth. She did not get any of the jobs. Frank called again. She says you are sabotaging her job search, he said. She listed me as a work reference without asking, I said. I told them we have never worked together. That is not sabotage. That is honesty. Can you at least say something good, he asked. She is desperate. She is 27 with little work history and living with us. So you want me to lie to employers, I asked. He went quiet. I am not responsible for fixing the life she chose, I said. While all this was going on, my own life was getting better. Without spending $2,000 a month on Rachel and her lifestyle, I was saving that money. I paid off my car early. I started investing. I helped my mom replace her old windows with energy-efficient ones. Living with my mom was not a failure. We respected each other's space. I cooked dinner 3 nights a week. She cooked 3. On Sundays, we ordered takeout and watched shows. It felt peaceful. Then Rachel tried one last move. One Sunday afternoon, she showed up at my mom's house with her parents and Melissa. 4 of them on the porch. My mom answered the door. Mrs. Thompson, we need to talk to Garrett, Rachel said. He does not want to see you, dear, my mom said. This is my house. You are not welcome here. I heard voices and came to the door. It is okay, Mom, I said. I will listen, just for a moment. Rachel had clearly rehearsed her speech. Garrett, I am here to apologize, she said. I was wrong to say those things. I was drinking. I was showing off. I was stupid. Please give us another chance. You were not drunk, I said. You had 1 glass of wine. Okay, but I was nervous, she said. Bradley was bragging and I felt insecure. So you threw me under the bus to feel better about yourself, I said. I did not mean it, she said. Which part? I asked. The part about me being a little boy, the part about controlling my finances, the part about cutting off my mom. Which part did you not mean? Melissa jumped in. Oh my God, it was just girl talk, she said. Every woman complains about her man to her family. That is normal. Is public humiliation at a formal dinner normal to you? I asked. With 25 people listening. Patricia tried next. Garrett, she loves you, she said. She made a mistake. Surely that is worth forgiveness. I have forgiven her, I said. That does not mean I want her back. Frank looked tired. What would it take, he asked. Counseling. She will go to counseling. There is nothing she can do, I said. She showed me who she is. I believe her. Rachel started to cry again. You are ruining my life over one stupid comment, she said. My mom stepped forward then. She had been quiet until that moment. Young lady, she said, you ruined your own life. You had a good man who loved you and supported you, and you mocked him for loving his mother. What kind of woman does that? What kind of wife would you have been? Would you mock your own children for loving you too much? Rachel went pale. Get off my property, my mom said. Do not come back. My son deserves better than you. They left. Rachel sobbed. Patricia glared. Frank looked defeated. Melissa muttered something about toxic masculinity and emotional manipulation on the way to the car. That was about 6 weeks ago. Since then, Rachel has found a full-time job at a gym, not as an instructor but at the front desk. $15 an hour, no benefits. Her social media has shifted from yoga poses and quotes to complaints about toxic work culture and corporate life. She is still living with her parents. Frank sometimes comes over to do work on my mom's house and gives small updates. He says she expects her mom to do her laundry, cook, and clean. When they asked her to help with chores and pay a small rent of $500 a month, she acted like they were robbing her. "We created a monster," he told me. "Patricia babied her. I allowed it. You paid for it. Now we are all paying the price. Except you got away." Her friend group fell apart without my money behind it. They could not afford the trips and dinners anymore. They turned on her and blamed her for losing their meal ticket. She is mostly friendless now, except for Melissa, who is just as bitter. Even her cousin Bradley got hit. His girlfriend dumped him after that dinner. She told him she had watched how Rachel treated me and realized Bradley had the same attitude. She literally told him, "I saw your cousin ruin her relationship with her ego and you are just like her. I am done." He blamed Rachel for ruining his relationship. They do not speak now either. As for me, I am okay. Better than okay. I started dating someone new a little while ago. Her name is Lauren. She is a nurse at the hospital where my mom had knee surgery last month. I met her while visiting my mom. We started talking in the hallway. It turned into coffee, then into a few dates. Lauren likes that I am close with my mom. She said, "Men who respect their mothers usually make good partners." She has her own apartment, her own money, and her own life. We split dates evenly. She sometimes comes to Sunday lunch and actually helps cook and clean up. My mom likes her a lot. I also found my own apartment. 2 bedrooms, nice area, fair rent. I move in next month. My mom is happy for me but sad to lose her live-in handyman. I promised I will still come over for Sunday lunch and repairs. That $2,000 a month I used to spend on Rachel. Half now goes into savings. Half goes to my mom. Not because she needs it to survive, but because I want to help her retire earlier than planned. She has worked hard for a long time. Now, instead of funding a woman who wanted to cut her off, I am helping my mom stop working at 64 instead of 67. Last week Rachel sent me one last text from an unknown number. "I hope you are happy," she wrote. I replied, "I am. I hope someday you will be too." She blocked me after that. That felt like a final door closing. When I look back, that anniversary dinner was a gift. It hurt in the moment, but it saved me from a future full of slow disrespect. She showed her true self before we married. No kids, no shared property, just a clean exit. The little boy who needed his mom is doing fine. Loving your mother is not weakness. It is strength. The real problem was someone who saw that bond as competition and thought cutting it off was part of the plan. I learned a lot from this. Lesson 1. When someone mocks your love for your family and calls it weakness, they are telling you how they will treat you later. Believe them. Lesson 2. Jokes about controlling your money and cutting you off from your family are not harmless. They are warnings about control. Lesson 3. You do not owe a second chance to someone who publicly humiliates you and then calls it a joke. Lesson 4. Walking away early can be painful, but it is still easier than divorcing someone who shows you the same attitude for years. Lesson 5. A partner who respects your healthy family ties is worth far more than one who sees them as competition. Lesson 6. Helping your parent and being close to them is not childish. It is a sign of character. Anyone who cannot respect that is not ready for a real partnership. What would you have done at that dinner table when Rachel called him a little boy who needed his mommy? Would you have stayed and tried counseling or walked out the way he did? Have you ever been mocked or put down for loving your family or helping your parents? Share your thoughts in the comments.